Hello and welcome back to my channel. So today I have another speed build for you, and this one's kind of special. I decided that I wanted to make a giant birthday cake home for my birthday. So my birthday was actually last weekend and I finally got the chance to build this. I've been wanting to do it for a while, but life's been a little bit crazy lately. But anyways, I actually built this on stream. So if you're interested in getting involved with, watching me stream, the link is down in the description if you want to check out my channel and follow to see when I'm going to be live. But I actually made this cake as kind of a replica of the cake I made myself last year for my birthday. So for whatever reason, last year for my birthday, I decided that I wanted to make a 3-tiered cake. I don't even know enough people to eat that amount of cake, but I wanted to make it anyways. And I made it white and blue, this like pretty teal color, which is like my favorite color. And I will actually, if I remember, I will add in a picture of my cake so that you can actually see what I'm talking about and see how well I did replicating it. But this was so much fun to make. I ended up adding in just a bunch of decorations on the outside. And I will say though, this is the second cake I've made. I have made another cake before and it was a wedding venue, so it looked like a wedding cake. And that was before we had round walls, so they were more like hexagons, like 3 stacked on top of each other instead of these nice round ones. But the round walls are a nightmare. Like, I've heard people talk about it, but it's true, y'all. They are awful. I had so many issues. Don't worry, this build is amazing and I love it so much. But it was just insane. Like at one point while I was streaming, I tried to draw a wall and no joke, it just deleted part of the outside wall. Don't know why. It just decided, you know what? I'm just gonna get rid of that. And for a while, I couldn't get it back. Like, I was so scared because I didn't know what to do. I couldn't just have a missing wall on the outside, but it had been a little while since I saved. So yeah, anyways, I did fix it, although there is a really weird spot on the inside in the bathroom that's like, the wall's just missing, like a tiny little gap. Itty bitty gap, and you can like see through it. It's bizarre. I don't know why. I tried to fix it, but I ended up putting a big mirror in front of it. So you can't really tell, but it's just so odd. But I was so excited on the outside of the build because I used these gorgeous windows from the wedding pack, that's stained glass, because I did like a pink and purple color scheme on that birthday cake last year, so I kind of went with these windows to mimic that. And this is actually in the wedding pack world, Tartosa. I have actually never ever built in this world before, but this lot is gorgeous. Like, I want to build on this lot again. I think there's even like a beach lot. I really need to like visit this world and see like if I can do some more stuff. But here I'm actually just pulling out a bunch of toppers from the wedding pack to see like what I could utilize on top. I actually ended up using, I think it was a wedding arch along with some hanging stars from Seasons. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't have it on top of my birthday cake last year, but I needed something up there, so that's what we ended up with. And I think it looked really good, to be honest. And I ended up using those like orb lights that came with the wedding pack on the outside, kind of like it kind of looked to me like piping on the side of a cake. And this is, like I said, a replica of what I made last year, and I made that cake after a style, I believe it's like Lambeth, I think. And it focuses on having a lot of piping around the edges of the cake, lots of layered like frosting and different colors and textures. So that's what I was trying to go for when I was actually putting all of these random items on the side of this build, was trying to capture some of that really nice texture and layers. So I ended up alternating colors. I cut out the film of me actually hand placing every single one of those because it took a very long time. But I will say, since they're all lights, this build is gorgeous at night. It is so beautiful. Like, I didn't have to worry about lighting outside or anything because the whole cake was already lit up from all of these lights. And then I just ended up adding some of that trim around the cake. And another thing that happened too when I was building on that, in that second tier, I drew a wall, and that wall connected in the front to the outside, and it just messed up that trim. I don't know why. Like, it's so bizarre. Like, I don't know what it is about these round walls, but like, They were giving me such a hard time, and they were doing it even when I was celebrating my birthday. Like, it was really rude. But I ended up using these stars that came with, I think it was Seasons. To me, it looked like piping, like little dollops of frosting across the top. So again, I took that part out because it was just me placing a bunch of stuff repeatedly. But I did that on all 3 tiers. I swapped up the colors on the middle because obviously like white on white, like you wouldn't really be able to see it. And then just adding a couple of details. And then these cute little hearts were so adorable. I loved them so much. I did not put them on the middle tier because again, the only applicable color on those was white, and it kind of got washed out, and so it looked a little weird. So I did not put that on the middle tier. And then I finally realized that the topper on the cake was not centered, so I finally fixed that. And also, when I was streaming, fun fact, I was actually muted for the first like 12 minutes. I kid you not. It was yeah, I knew I would do that. Like, I knew at some point, it didn't take very long, only my second stream, and I had already left myself on mute. Like, I need to make a command so people can tell me, hey, you're muted. Like, that's ridiculous. But anyways, I fixed it. It was fine. But I also pulled out these presents out of Debug. Now, these presents are actually from dogs and cats, and they're the things that like the dogs and cats will bring back to their owners as gifts. But I am interested to see, though, since I sized them up and they're out of debug, I wonder if your Sims will interact with them in the same way. Like, when I take my screenshots, I turn off autonomy so they don't run around and doing whatever they want, because that's how I get my builds messed up, and then they just, it's chaos. You know, they'll burn stuff down. I have to supervise to make sure they don't ruin my build while I'm taking screenshots of it. But I'm curious to see if they just decide to go pick those up. You know, they're like, oh, look, a present, and get it, because that may be what they're programmed to do. So I'm not sure if you do download this, like, they may just disappear because your Sims decide to grab them. And I also end up sizing up some cupcakes to put on the front that were so cute. I loved them so much. But again, I don't know if your Sim is going to decide that they want to eat it or throw it away. Like, I wonder if it's gonna go bad. So just as a warning, that may happen. I'm not actually sure. Now, the cupcakes didn't like go bad. I think I played for about a day or two trying to take screenshots, and nothing happened to the cupcakes. So who knows, maybe they don't like go bad. I don't know. I guess, you know, if you download this, you might find out. And this is already up on the Sims 4 gallery, so you can download it and use it under my ID, Spice and Sprinkles, all lowercase and all one word, and it's down in the description if you want to see it written out. But feel free to download it, use it however you want to. I was back and forth, like somebody on stream had asked me if I was going to make this a community lot, and I hadn't thought about that. I didn't end up doing that. I did like decorate this as a home for like Sims to live in. But this could also be like, if you download it and just gutted the inside, this could be a cool lot to have like birthday parties on. Like, I mean, just have a bunch of amusement kind of stuff here and bring your Sims here and have parties. Like, actually, that would probably also be a really good idea. And I had quite a time trying to get stairs and everything in this build so you can actually access all 3 floors. I ended up using a ladder to get to the 3rd floor because it's not that big, and so trying to put stairs, it was a whole thing, so I just use a ladder instead to make it a little bit easier. And I do end up making this a 2-bedroom. I was only going to do like a 1-bedroom, like making the 2nd floor just a bedroom, but like this is a deceptively large build. Like, I went to do this and I was like, this is huge. So I ended up splitting that 2nd tier into 2 bedrooms. And I don't know if you can notice here, so I'm actually drawing out what will be the bathroom, but those walls that I drew don't connect to the outside walls. Like, why? Why is that a thing? You can see like a tiny little space there. So I end up putting like columns there to at least so you don't see the gap, but there's not a lot I could do. And it does mess up those like 2 pieces of wall right there, like adjacent to that gap. It makes it so that the lighting's off. I don't know why the lighting would be off, but like it is. So those 2 pieces of wall, and I think there's another one on the other side, the paint looks a little weird, so I apologize for that. But I really tried to figure out how to make it not look so funny. But listen, y'all, if you use round walls, you know what I'm talking about. Like, it just does whatever it wants. It really does. And so I did my best. I did what I could. And then in the bottom floor, I ended up putting, it's a big living room. It has a desk, like a huge entryway, a large bathroom, a weird looking kitchen, I'm not gonna lie. But it also did this thing where, do you see the flooring? It like forced me to like cover up the floor basically all with the same thing. Like, I don't know why it was doing that. I couldn't get it to stop doing that. So we have purple floors, y'all. Once I got onto the inside of this build, it became very colorful, very colorful. So we do use purple floors, but don't worry, they don't look that aggressive. I do end up putting like a lot of rugs down, so that does cover up some of the crazy purpleness, so it's not as intense. But I ended up going like full on, like basically rainbow in the living room, and I love it so much. Like, this build is so chaotic, but it looks really cool though. You know what I mean? Like, if you have really colorful, eccentric Sims, like this would be the perfect place to put them, right? Like, put them in a giant cake. Like, I feel like that makes a whole lot of sense. And I also had issues painting the walls. Like, why did it paint both sides of that wall? I don't know. And like, just trying to get it to recognize that I wanted to paint it, or it just like, it was so weird. Just know that if you got it and you want to build in it, it was giving me issues. But I think that's kind of a theme with round walls. So, I mean, I've used them before in my mushroom forest build. If you've not seen that, I suggest checking that out. It is adorable. But I used, round walls there, and I didn't have this many issues. Like, I had a few weird things, but not this many. And you can also see kind of from that top down view, there are these weird like shadow kind of things that look like they're on the ceiling. And I assume they're from the like level above, but I don't know what's causing them. I couldn't get rid of them, so we live with them. And I also realized too, while I was doing this, it was mad about the foundation I had chosen, so I do swap it out for like a solid foundation versus like the stilts it was on. I wanted to do stilts originally because it kind of reminded me of it like a cake stand, but it made the build like even more mad at me, so I changed it out for a solid one. And I do wish I could have put those lights at the bottom closer to the foundation, but right in the four corners of the circle, like I could not get those any closer. Like, it would clip up to like the floor every time. So I did the best I could, but I think it still looks really great. There was just things that I wish could have been better, but those just come down to glitches in the round wall programming. Like I said, I don't know exactly what causes all those issues, or if you know how to fix those, or you have like trouble, like shoot them. Anyways, if you know how to fix some of those, let me know in the comments down below, because I would love to know. But I don't know when I'm going to use round walls again. Like, I might use it like in part of a build, but I don't think I would strictly use just round walls anymore, because this was a whole thing. But you can see here I'm adding just a bunch of clutter in here. I'm trying to focus still on like blues, purples, and pinks, but that rug was too gorgeous to pass up. I don't think I've ever used it before because it is so colorful, but I thought it looked so pretty, and I think the pink drapes really helped tie everything together. And we had that really cool fireplace over there from Decor to the Max, and then these really funky looking end tables. I think those are from the Paranormal pack, or one very similar to it was from that pack. I can't remember, but I think the couches are from the Paranormal pack. And I had thought about using lava lamps on the edges, on the end tables here, but it introduced way too much color to the space. Like, we didn't need any more help being super ridiculously colorful. So I'm just adding a little bit of clutter, and I did have some issues too placing clutter in this house. Like, I tried my best. So it's not maybe quite as cluttered as I usually like my builds, but I think the amount of colors kind of makes up for it, and I think it's fine in the end. And so I just added a few things up on these shelves, on these mirrors. I felt like the mirror made it really like dynamic in this room and kind of reflected all those colors. So even though all those colors weren't on that wall, they kind of were, because they were being reflected from the rug. And I added those adorable ottomans that we got with the high school pack. I feel like it rounded out that seating space really nicely. And so this home, for the screenshots, I only had like a mother-daughter, but there is like 2 like full-size beds in here. So you could have up to like 4 Sims. You could even like swap out one of the full beds and put multiple like single beds in there if you want multiple kids, if you want to add like a set of 2 parents, like that's totally up to you. If you want to like download it and kind of do whatever you want with it, it doesn't hurt my feelings at all. I just love that if you want to use it, you can, and gives you some inspiration. And you can see I'm on the struggle bus trying to put that desk there. Like I wanted it to be a little farther over, but the game didn't want it to be, so it's there instead. It was very interesting. And I will say, if you want to see all the mishaps and the weird stuff that happened, you can check out the VOD on my Twitch channel. Those are just posted there so you can watch them back. They're just not live, but they basically are just like basically the whole process of me trying to build this and like the frustrating moments I had, all of that is in there. So, I mean, if you want to put it on in the background, like I thought it was pretty funny. Like just all the issues I had, but I was so excited. I was able to use that like furry chair. I feel like I've been talking about it a lot, and I finally was like, I'm using it in this build. If there's a build you can use a furry chair in, it is this build. So I included it here, and I had no idea that computer had a purple swatch, and I was so excited when I was building. I sorted by like pink and purple, and I was like, there's no way there's gonna be like a computer, you know, like I think there is a pink laptop, but I didn't think there was gonna be like a full-on computer. And sure enough, there is a purple computer. Like it was perfect. And so we're entering in the bathroom space here. It is a weird bathroom. The shape is definitely interesting, but I love the idea of having a bathtub right in front of those gorgeous windows. So that's what I ended up doing here. And so coming up soon, you're going to see like walls be deleted, and oh my gosh, like it was heartbreaking and very scary. Like someone in my chat was just like, oh no. I am happy I was able to fix it, but it was a whole thing. It's because I was trying to put like a shower over there, and I was trying to make like a makeshift shower where I like add in a wall there, and then it just deleted. Like, what happened to the wall? Like, where did it go? Like, I couldn't get it back. And I was so worried if I just put down another one of those quarter circles that it was gonna just like delete everything I'd done, and it was just a whole thing. Like, I kept staring at it like, what am I gonna do? And then I tried to draw that wall, and then it popped back, but then I have a gap in the wall. Listen, I don't know. And then it was giving me a hard time about painting the wall. Like, why? Like, why was it being difficult? And the bizarre part is you can see that gap. Like, you can see through it in the bathroom, but on the other side, you can't, like, it's solid. Like, I don't know. Like, the game got real weird, y'all. It just did whatever it wanted to. Happy birthday to me. But like I said, I ended up just putting a tall mirror in front of it and called it a day. Like, because I was just like, I'm not messing with it anymore. I don't want to touch it anymore. I tried putting a column there, but that definitely looked weird from the other side. So you can only see that gap like right at the top. Of course, if you want to download this and mess around with it, try to fix it, move it, do whatever you want, feel free to do so. Like, see if you can fix it. I am curious though. I'm wondering if you like download it off the gallery, if it will not have that glitch, you know what I mean? Like, maybe it was just like my like save that was doing something really funky. Like I said, the outside wall just magically popped back, and then here we are. So I ended up putting kind of a lot of counters in here. There's only one sink, but I did include like a bunch of space to get ready, and I ended up putting like one of those really pretty big mirrors in here. I thought about putting the star in here, but then I was like, no. And I like the idea of those clouds as well, but they were just a little small. And they also, I wish they had more faces. Like, it has the one with like the heart eyes, and then it has one crying. Why would I want a crying mirror in my build? I don't know. That makes me sad. So I ended up not using it, but you know, I don't know. I wanted to, I thought about it. And I ended up upstairs is also very colorful. Everything is colorful in this build. Like, it is very insane. But I feel like if you saw my like artist apartment from the other day where it was kind of chaotic with color, but it still worked out somehow, that's what I feel like happened in this house. Like, especially upstairs, like I used a bunch of colors, but I think it still looked good. And I ended up putting the kitchen over here. That was interesting for sure. Like, I put a wall there so I could actually put counters up against that wall, because I didn't want to put counters against the mirror, or not the mirrors, but the windows over there. I was trying to avoid doing that, so I included this wall here, and I also figured to give it a nice separation. And then I really wanted to put a rug over right there to put a little table so your Sims can sit there and eat. and it was giving me such a hard time. You can see eventually I end up placing the rug outside and then alt placing it by dragging it in the house. Like it helped a lot. Like I couldn't even like rotate it with alt. Like it was being real weird. So we did finally get it in there. There is a dining table. It is functional. It just maybe is not quite what I had in mind, but I think it worked out pretty nicely. And I used that kind of weird looking rug. It's not weird. It's oddly shaped because I figured it would help fill in that space a little bit more, especially because I couldn't like get like a circle rug in there to fit really nicely. And then I kind of pushed the table up against the wall so your Sims can get around it. And then at that point, like I wish I could adjust, like twist it a little bit, like change the placement a little bit, but I didn't want to touch it again because I didn't want it to freak out and then it didn't do what I wanted it to do. So I just kind of left it alone. And here you can see I try a few things trying to like make this kitchen work. Like I tried those tall cabinets, all kinds of stuff. I ended up not putting too much over in that corner because it was just a really weird corner. And because we had round walls, I tried to just draw a wall there to kind of wall off that really weird, awkward corner so I could put something on it. No, if you draw that wall, it sticks out the side of the build. So yeah, I wished it was programmed to where it knew it intersected like an outside wall and it would stop. Cause like, why would I want it sticking out? Like, I don't know. But I think it turned out pretty nicely. I ended up putting cabinets over there anyways, but only like 2 of them. And I did have an issue like when I was basically playtesting it, when I was taking the screenshots, like the sim decided that it didn't have like any room to cook on the counter once I don't put that much clutter. I only put a few items. But the version that I uploaded, I did change it just a little bit. So I moved, I think it was like the utensils I put by the stove. I shift those around so your sim can cook there because I want to make sure it's actually functional. And then I found these random like colorful paintings. I think they came with Dine Out. So I thought those kind of looked nice over there. And then, I don't know, a basket of towels or something in the kitchen. And then I actually do come across a really cute cake decal that I put on the wall. And I put a shelf under it. And I think that helped a whole lot in that corner and made it feel a lot more intentional and filled in because it really was bugging me that this space didn't look quite right. So I put a few things like a cookie jar and some canisters of tea up there. So it actually looks like there is some storage and it's not super random. And so here, this is like the entryway. Again, because it's like diagonal walls, diagonal walls are hard to deal with anyways in The Sims, so it was being really difficult. So I do end up like just kind of putting some storage over there. And then I did put some like 2 couches in here. It did allow me to actually put these rugs in and the couches without too much trouble, thank goodness, because I was having so much trouble on the other side. And then I end up using like 2 colorful mirrors over here to kind of decorate this wall. And you can see there, the paint colors just don't look quite right. And you'll see that in screenshots. Like I said, I could not figure out how to fix the lighting, and it was just because that wall I think doesn't attach to the outside wall. So I don't know, makes a whole lot of sense. So I ended up just putting these like wedding flowers here because I thought those just looked really pretty and matched color wise with the build. And since this is supposed to be like a party, like cake build, I figured, flowers and stuff like that made a lot of sense. And I did not realize that clutter item that I just placed has a bowl with keys in it. I was so excited when I figured that out on stream because I always talk about that. If you've been around the channel or listened to my other voiceovers, I talk about that all the time. I wish there was like a bowl of keys or something by the front door. And that has it. Like, don't get me wrong, I wish it was separate. I'm sure like a modder or custom content creator will like figure out how to separate those items, but like I'll take it. I mean, it's better than nothing. So now that I know that, like, I wonder if I'm going to be using that object a lot more. I wish it didn't have so many other things with it. So I feel like it's still a little specific with the other clutter items matched with it, but whatever, I won't be picky. And so, like I said, up here, I end up dividing this into 2 rooms because it was just so big. Like this really ended up being such a large space. And so I end up making, basically it's 2 symmetric rooms. They have like a little nook in the corner by one of those big windows and then like a long corridor. It's a very long room, which made it a little awkward to decorate, but I think it worked out really well. And I think everything fit in really nicely. Like the parents' bedroom, I ended up putting in like a fireplace and everything. And I believe I don't have footage of the kids' room. I think we're gonna magically have it done because I made the mistake of pausing my recording while I was doing some stuff on stream, and I forgot to unpause it. So luckily you didn't miss too much, and you'll see it all in the screenshots and just like as I'm working on the rest of the house. But just FYI, magically one of the rooms will basically be done. That wasn't my intention, but you know, it happens. I think it happened especially in my earlier like videos, like I would forget when I was recording, but like now streaming, my brain is just learning how to do a bunch of things at one time, if that makes sense. So this is where it kind of skipped. So this is the kids' bedroom. I added in a bunch of little toys everywhere. I thought those looked so cute. This room came together so well. I used one of the new beds with the really pretty like feather print on it. Like I was so excited. I keep using the beds from the high school pack because honestly, they're fantastic. Like they're just so versatile, so many patterns, so many different colors. Like I really just love using them so much. And over in the corner, we did kind of miss it a little bit. I did put like a dresser over there. There's not a whole ton over there, but that's where your son would go like get dressed and stuff. So this is supposed to be the parents' room. I went back and forth. I had this, and then I realized that I really like this bed and I like the colors in it, so I changed to match the bed. So I changed the wallpaper to yellow, and I think it turned out really nicely once I put in curtains. And I struggled a lot with the curtains because the curtains that I used in all the other rooms just didn't quite match. Like I didn't like, and it just, I don't know, it looked kind of funny. I thought about using those, but then those don't fit on the ends, and then like it was a whole thing. Like it was just a whole thing. I tried to use those pieces and it just looked too weird. Like they didn't fit together super well. So I ended up just using those as like single panels, and then the big windows just don't have anything on it. I figured maybe that was an artistic like choice, and also since it's like stained glass, like you wouldn't have to worry about like people like being able to see in, probably, hopefully, and you're on the second floor and you're on an island in the ocean, so like I think you're probably fine. But I made this super cute cozy corner with a nice fireplace, a cozy chair, and an ottoman, and then I end up just putting like a reading light over there, like just a nice tranquil hangout for the parents. I figured that was really nice to have. And then, and of course I keep saying like parents and a child, but you really could have like roommates here, sisters, brothers, like siblings, like friends, whatever. You can use this however you would like to. But I try to keep that space like not super cluttered, and I think it looks super cute. Like I really like the way that turned out, and I am happy with like how I designed both of these rooms, because it was kind of a struggle, them being just kind of like these long, weird, awkward rooms. But I do end up putting in like a small TV stereo situation here, and so your Sims have like multiple places to hang out and like watch TV, and then like obviously this would have music here. And then I do like upstairs end up having like an amp as well. Like the third floor ends up basically being like a fun like hangout zone, so just stuff like to do and skill building. And I found the carpet that had candy on it, so I used it. Like, I mean, I feel like I really didn't have much of a choice. Like I had to use that rug, and I felt like that plum bob art just fits so well. It was so colorful, but it like matched this room like really well. I don't know if I've really ever used that piece because it is really specific. And then up here, I end up putting like a Don't Wake the Llama table, a fish tank, and an easel, a guitar, an amp, a couch, like this really cool space. And I think it ended up looking very pretty. I tried to put that floral wallpaper that I like up here, but again, like with these round walls, that corner, it like stretches the pattern that's on it, and it just looked a little too weird. Like I think it looks okay with this pattern, but with the flowers, it was just like, no, it looked very distorted and I did not care for it. So we didn't end up using that, but I think this worked out. And instead of using that crazy purple flooring, I ended up kind of just using colors like everywhere else up here instead of for, you know, the flooring. So I think it got pulled together a lot with this rug, and that was from Decor to the Max as well. And then just adding in a bunch of things here. I feel like I got some great screenshots up here and just lots of things for your Sims to do and for skill building. And I end up, I think, just putting in some like paint cans over there. And then I do end up putting like the skateboards on the wall and those adorable little flowers. Like I thought those looked so cute, like looked so good on the wall for some decals up here and just a little bit of color and just making it just really adorable up here. And of course you can change any of this out if you're not feeling it, but also including a little seating space up here so your Sims can just kind of hang out and relax. And again, I am hoping you're enjoying this video. If you do, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I would super appreciate it. And as always, leave me some comments down below if things that you might want to see, or I'm also still trying to think of an idea for 100 sub episodes. So if you think of something for that, let me know as well. And check out my channel on Twitch if you want to be involved with that. And so I hope you are having a really sweet day. Bye, everybody.